Hello, my name is Yu Dao. I am a monk here at SokukoJi. If you are inspired by these talks and these teachings, please consider joining us for our other forums, online or in person, and also consider helping us financially. We could use your support if you are able. Thank you. Good evening. Tonight's talk is called The Realms of Desire. So realms, more than one realm of desire. So there are several models in the Buddhist cosmology or in the modalities, the concepts that have realms, the desire realm named in them. So the one that is sort of overarching is the Tridhatu or the Triloka. And those are the three realms of form or desire, form, and formlessness. So we don't talk about these very much because they're rather obscure, difficult concepts that even the scholars sort of argue about, especially the last two. But the first realm in the three realms, the Triloka, is the realm of desire. And this is a human realm. But it isn't the same as the realm we talk about in the six realms, which all are subject to the main realm of desire. This realm is the word kama. And kama, as you may be familiar with the Kama Sutra, kama is the closest translation for that in Western language would be the Greek eros. So eros has to do with the senses. It's sometimes thought of as erotic, but it just means the sense fields. So this desire realm it's a human realm. And within this desire realm are the six realms. And the desire realm within this desire realm, which is in the middle of the six realms, is the realm of Manusya, or the human realm. So the human realm within the human realm, or the realm of sentient beings. So the human realm is said to be the most auspicious realm where we are able to awaken, because we are neither too caught up in the hellishness of our lives and trying to survive in the lowest realm, the hell realm, nor are we too distracted by the pleasures of life in the Deva realm. So there's the human realm is in the middle, and the six realms, and above that is the jealous god realm, and then the Deva realm, Devaloka. Below that we have the animal realm and the hungry ghost realm, and then the hell realm. So I just wanted to look at desire in general and what is desire and how many kinds of desire are there. So the kama desire is the one that got us here, the eros, the passion, the lust. The other one is more just saying, yes, this is the human realm. And the one in the 12 links, there's another use of desire, is either tanha or tershna in Sanskrit. Tanha is the Pali. And this is a craving. So I was wondering, is this craving different than the craving of the desire realm of kama in the three realms? And it seems like the craving in the three realms is the fundamental craving for experience, for other. It seems like this is where we are sort of dreaming up our world, a world of objects and otherness that we can relate to. And what we are always looking for is this satisfaction of fulfillment or absorption, unity, this experience of other, this intimacy that seems to be underlying the other desires for the things of this world. So we might think about the 8 worldly dharmas, without bringing up every single list that Buddhism has, and there are a lot. So pain and pleasure are the main drivers of this. Our sensorium is where we get our experience. And in particular, we are pleasure driven. Even success and failure. Failure is not pleasure. Or gain and loss. Loss is not pleasure. So we are always going for the pleasurable aspects of our experience. That makes sense. So in these 2 types of desire, it's also talked about as leading to. Satisfying these desires may lead to favorable or unfavorable conditions, kusala and akusala, beneficial, non-beneficial. But it all leads to some kind of karma. So even the desire for awakening or nirvana is a desire and may or may not lead to, at best, it may lead to another human birth that is a good birth. Or it's said in a newer Mahayana tradition that it could lead to a birth in a pure Buddha realm where you don't have to come back to the human realm. You can just awaken in this paradise of a human realm with Amitabha, Buddha of light. So this is a karmic trap of attachment, desire, and we're not going to get out of this. And none of the realms can guarantee security. They are all impermanent. So what do we do with this desire for fulfillment, for other, for intimacy? Do we prioritize our desires and put some aside and work on others? If we desire to become a great musician, do we put aside our desire to go to the bar and practice our musical instrument? Maybe not always. And your desires that you come into this world with are not necessarily those you just thought up after you went to school and matured a little bit, became an adult. Many of these desires are habits or volitions that came in with us from our karmic past. And whether it's talked about as past lives or just moments in this life, our ancient karma is sort of carrying us forward into certain patterns of desire. And we can't ignore that. We need to do something about the desire. Or actually, we need to not do something, but we will do something. So the 3 poisons of ignoring it, well, that won't work. As you probably realize, that will just come back. Or pushing it away, that won't work either. Or grasping at it, no, we might have to do that. So in the 12 links, desire is seen more as something, it depends on the Buddhist tradition, but in the Theravadan tradition, desire is something that they try to minimize by doing all sorts of exercises to reduce that and not be exposed to the things that trigger our desire. But in the Mahayana traditions, mostly we just look at the desire. We may grasp. The next one in the link is upadana, So we may grasp at that and also to just see that. To ignore it or to not have some of these desires fulfilled can cause a lot of frustration and anger. I mean, just look at a 2-year-old when they don't get what they desire. We're not able to just throw a tantrum every time we don't get what we want. So we have to moderate in some ways that desire. I think it helps to look at where that desire is coming from, that the desire is natural. It's how we got here through desire. It's that Eros is part of the whole realm, the whole human realm, the whole, our whole consciousness. So in the 3 realms model, the human realm, the Kamadhatu in Pali, Karmadhatu, or Kamadhatu, I'm sorry, that's the Eros. The second one is there's a realm of form called Rupadhatu, and it's not the form that we think of as materiality or substance. In this case, Rupa, or the form, is more concerns, it's more like formal thought. So if you are reborn, it can be thought of as a rebirth field. You can be born in a realm of a sort of a thought being, but it can also be a meditative state. This is my best understanding of this through reading the scholarly works of Dan Lusthaus. So Rupa Dhatu is hard to render accurately in English.
Question.
Yes.
Could you say something, quote Dan Lusthaus, what text he was referring to?
This is from Buddhist phenomenology.
Well, his text, but what was he quoting?
Oh, that's a good question. One of them comes from the Majjhima Nikaya, I think, and he quotes Buddhaghosa as someone
Okay.
who has interpreted
That's what
these
I'm wondering.
things.
Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, so he has quite a good, very intellectual layout of the different models. Tridhatu, the Pratitya Samutpada, the Skandhas, but I also looked somewhat at Chogyam Trungpa Rinpoche's. He viewed the realm of desire not just physical, but a psychological state of being driven by craving, attachment, and the ego's need for self-confirmation. So this is talking more about the lower desire of in the human realm in the 12 links model. So since I jumped over to Chogyam Trungpa, he says this is leading to endless dissatisfaction, cycle of grasping and aversion. And he taught that desire's energy, if misdirected, fuels the deluded ego. But in Vajrayana, this same passionate energy can be transformed into wisdom and compassion. So back to the 3 realms in the Triloka model. The Rupadhatu realm of form and the Arupadhatu is, as far as I can understand this, and I don't think there's agreement on it either, is that like those highest jhana states, the state of infinite space and nothingness. I'll get you in a minute, James. Go ahead, James.
James Gowan. How does this relate to the division of gods between the formless ones and the ones that have a form? Gowan.
How do you mean the ones that have form? Can you give me an example of each?
Uh, whatever the Brahma is that they say creates, the like the creator Brahma is usually thought of as formless, but lesser gods are usually they're usually form based.
I'm not familiar with that. Do you mean physically? They are physical gods?
Yeah.
What text is he coming from? He's not asking a question based on what you're teaching. He's asking a question based on some stuff he's been reading. He needs to talk about his text.
Yeah, that's why I'm asking well, yeah, what text are you looking at, James?
It's been a while, but I think it was in the Visuddhimagga. There's something about the people that do the jhanas you were saying. If they do the immaterial ones, they go to the higher realm god state. But if they do the material jhanas, they go to a lower god state.
Okay, there's something there. I know that the Sudamaga is referenced in Lust House's work, but I didn't pay that much attention to it because it doesn't really, I don't know how helpful that is to what we're doing.
Uh,
Focus on
it,
whether the gods are material or immaterial.
the translation I was reading is called The Path of Purification, but it's like 1,400 pages, so it's kind of long.
Did you read it all?
Yeah, I got to 1347, and then it becomes bibliography.
47.
So,
Who
but
wrote that?
it's
Who's it by?
I have to scroll down on my Kindle thing too. They say Bodhi BQ, I think, but I don't. That's go back to
Okay,
it.
did you have any other question about um that's outside of the form and the formless realms?
No, I'll put the information in the chat if I get it.
Okay, thank you, James. Elena?
Elena Bowing. I was thinking this morning in meditation that because I've been pushing away or rejecting grief, I've been grasping and clinging at shopping. If I stop clinging and stop rejecting, will that bring
Can't
that
see it.
back out?
Bring out the grief, you
Yeah.
mean?
Or not necessarily? I don't know.
Not necessarily, but you're aware that you're using shopping maybe to suppress some of that grief. I think that's a good start. And that's about all you can really do, especially given that we don't have any control over those kinds of emotions that arise when they do.
Thank you.
Chandra Bowing. You mentioned like a core desire and said something about intimacy. Can you say more about what you're pointing at there? Is there a core main desire?
I don't know that it's one thing, but it seems like it kind of boils down to, since it's called kama, eros, it's that desire to unite with another. And of course, the strongest way we know about that is men and women, sex, positive and negative, this draw to be united with someone, to be absorbed or fulfilled by something else. But it works on every level. And it's not just masculine and feminine, it's like energetic, like magnetism or electricity, I think of it in that way. But in lesser things too, we want to be fulfilled with food, with drink, with entertainment, with all kinds of things. We look to them for a fulfillment experience.
Chandra Bowing. What about could that also be the desire to be not separate? You know, that not separateness? Could that also be what that's pointing at, Bob?
Yeah, I think so.
Conjure bowing, and this is all part of the illusion, right? This is all three of these realms that you're talking about are
Mhm.
carving up the illusion, so to speak.
Yes, just a way of talking about that. And it's a creative energy, so this is how the world gets created, is through this attraction to fulfillment and this deep sort of need to be intimate with others and with things. And so we are wired to do that and to create that. If we are indeed creating some of our world and like projecting our expectations out onto the world, it seems like we are in our search for that. We're actually bringing it forward. Does that make sense?
Conjure bowing, that to me is fascinating to see that this is all an illusion. And it's something that consciousness it's not separate from consciousness. So, and so this is this consciousness's creative act. But I guess going to that ultimate, there nothing happens. So anyways, thank you for listening to my wrestling with all this violence.
Thank you. Anyone else have a question? Elena.
Elena bowing. Well, to go further into that, I mean, this is also like a survival thing. So how does that play into where this all comes out from? Because we need this connectivity and this clinging, this specific type of. So is this something that is arising from consciousness, or is this something that's arising from this particular form of existence in this place? Like, does this exist in the Buddha realm? Or does this only exist here because of survival?
In the Buddha, well, this is consciousness. So yes, it's arising from.
But is this something that, are you describing something that's happening in consciousness? Well, I guess everything happens in consciousness. But are you describing something that happens in other realms, or something that only happens in this realm, or do we not know?
Are you talking about the other realms as far as the 6 realms that are desire realms? It happens in all realms, sure. The desire, you're talking about the desire to
Have this intimacy and connectivity with.
yeah, well, a connectivity, the higher desire probably is not very apparent in certain realms, but always the desire for something else is there, whether it's recognized as intimacy or wanting to be unified with something or absorption, I don't know. But it happens in all the realms. In the God realm, they're constantly acquiring things that they want to fulfill their life to make it better. And in the hell realms, it's more about the pushing away of something, that kind of a desire.
Elena bowing, the specific intimacy one that Kanjama was talking about, the creative one, is there any aspect of spirituality in that as well?
Yes, yeah. SokukoJi.
SokukoJi bowing. I think you made a distinction between Theravada and Mahayana and how they work with desire. And my understanding from what you said is Theravadins might, what do they do?
I've read that what they do is they have practices where they visualize the human body as full of pus and blood and excrement, and especially when there's a woman around, so that they don't have a lustful cravings. That's the one that comes to mind. I think they focus more on the desire of the 12 links. And in our tradition, we focus more on seeing the grasping and how we grasp at that. Not trying to stop that.
So how does, as Mahayanists, how does observing the desire, what does that do for us?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't think we're looking for an outcome with that necessarily. We're just seeing how, and I'm looking at this all the time, not all the time, but this is what has been explained to me, as if you see how you grasp, that's the only way that it can be let go. You can't let it go, but it may loosen in that way. Like some kind of a knot that's there that you can't see, but seeing the way you're tied up will help it to loosen.
SokukoJi bowing. Is there also the words renunciation and revulsion? I wonder about those and if people are using them the same or as different, and how do you apply those to desire?
It's another good question. I don't know that much about the Theravadan tradition, but I think their Vinaya, their rules, that they follow more closely than they do in maybe the Mahayana monasteries. Are stricter. So renunciation for us is more a look of a renunciation of self, not set by a bunch of rules. What was the other one you mentioned? Revulsion. Don't hear that mentioned much in Mahayana, and to me it's something you might feel. Is there something more specific about revulsion? I may not be understanding.
SokukoJi bowing. I think that's coming from Trungpa Rinpoche. I think he didn't use the word renunciation, he used revulsion instead. And more along the lines of Mahayana. So then another question is, could someone be observing desire for a long time to the point where they're revulsed and they start renouncing? Something like that.
Perhaps. I haven't done that.
And I'm asking you because you've studied a lot of things I haven't studied.
Have you had any experience in that? I can see
Right
where that
now.
would happen.
Yeah,
Right now?
Totally revulsed.
Oh, no.
Not by you.
Oh. I think there is a certain revulsion of samsara that can come up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Jishin?
Shin bowing. Is the dream we are in a result of desire? Bowing.
Yes.
Desire of what or whom? Bowing.
It depends on your dream.
Can you say more, please? Bowing.
I don't know. I think it comes from however you got here as your individual body, mind. whatever. I think it's called Parabda karma, the karma that got you back here, which you can't change. And those desires might have been, they're just tendencies that pile up in the form of discriminations and attitudes, predispositions, prejudices, those kinds of things. What you want, what you don't want, I think it plays out that way. So
She's bowing. I have.
Well, take your question.
go ahead.
Okay, sorry. If this is Sokuzan, I will wait. Sorry.
No,
No, go ahead. So, because I want you to ask.
What is the difference between how desire is different from intention? Bowing.
Intention seems a bit more that it can be unconscious, more in the background. I think when it gets to the point of desire, it can also be in the foreground. Once it gets to desire, then you can formulate an intention. But there's also an intention that seems to be behind the desire. Me, without even knowing what that intention is, you may not be able to articulate that, but there seems to be some intention on both sides of desire.
So is desire more conscious than intention? Is this what you are saying? Bowing.
I don't think that's always true, but it seems like it. It seems like once you have desire, you have desire after you have Vedana, after you have the feeling and the you like it or don't like it or ignore it. Then is desire, and then is the grasping in the 12 links anyway.
Thank you.
Thank you. So oh.
Chandrama bowing. Is there what is the teaching about suffering in these realms teachings, Dharma, related to the realms, especially the desire realm?
I'm not exactly connecting that. Can you tighten it up a little bit or?
Chandrama bowing, I just hear desire for something else, which is suffering. And I didn't know if what you've read about the realms had anything in specific about the role of suffering. Bowing.
Oh, but that's good you brought that up. That it's desire for something else that is causing the suffering. So it causes the suffering but the satisfaction of that desire may be a temporary relief from that. Is there more?
So if you're a Theravadan practitioner and you and you're working with a particular Vinaya that they have, which is, as you said, was very strict and so on, and even though you're working with that, still you are, and I'm just characterizing this, and this may be a little silly, but I want to ask it anyway, because I think it's important. There are variations on this that we all experience in different ways. And you're working with that, and there are different levels. In the Mahayana, we work with something similar. It might be a different structure, different intensity, different quality of passion, different quality of aggression, and a different quality or intensity or shape of ignorance. But if you're, as I say, I don't mean to be flippant here, but it's a definite question. But if you find that no matter how you work with particular Vinaya or particular rules or particular instructions, if you just find that you're, instead of being repulsed or that you're actually engaged with the pus and the blood and the guts, and you're magnetized by that. That means you're just a helpless Theravadan pervert?
I don't think so.
Well, then what?
Well, then it's just that method is not working for you, or it's not. Maybe you need to.
Is there a teaching that you
Yes.
understand, that a way that a teaching person might be able to relate with a person who is totally caught in the trap of lust by being magnetized by things that are generally thought of as dirty or filthy?
Mm.
You follow me a little bit?
Yes, I do.
Okay,
I do.
that's what I'm interested in hearing your
That is a
response.
good question.
I thought so.
Yeah. I think that's where the Mahayana has more flexibility there to work with things like that.
Well said. It's not about judging the Theravadan. Some people, or not that I'm going to step into your teaching situation, but some people really need the Theravadan. Right and wrong, Mahayana is better, Theravada is better. This is not helpful. People need to be met in the karma that they're in, and some people need the Theravada, need the Mahayana, need the Vajrayana. And it should be done very, very specifically by having a teacher. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Was there further?
No, good.
James?
I did put the link in the chat, but James Bowling. There's things about meditation objects being suitable or not suitable for people in the Theravadan, like thinking of how food becomes poop is one of them, and there's other ones like body, etc. But how do you I guess not really judge, but how do you understand what's suitable as a what Mahayana equivalents are suitable for which people? Alan?
That's something the person needs to decide for himself. They'll know and be attracted to whichever path works for them. Maybe they need to go to more than one, try more than one method. They said there are 84,000 gates, 84,000 teachings, 84,000 afflictions. So
In the
anyway,
Theravadan, right, in like the Visuddhimagga, it says for like a greedy person, you practically are taking them down a cliff and giving them dirty, nasty food, and that's suitable for them. So I'm just kind of asking, what would you do the same thing? Kick a greedy person down a hill and say, eat dirty food?
well, no, I don't think so. But I know some parents, they make their children sit down and smoke cigarettes or do something like that until they get sick. And I don't know if that works or not. Didn't happen to me, so.
And it also
Any
says to give
method, so I don't know.
an angry person a really nice place to live. Yeah.
Thank you, James. Erla?
Well, I'm bowing. Curious if you could go in more to your original intention of bringing together the different kinds of desire, and if you got what you wanted to out of that topic. Bowing.
I can tell you, thank you. I can tell you where this came from. Is that I've heard both SokukoJi say, and I've heard it elsewhere, that everything is sexual. So what does that mean? And so I started kind of looking into that. What does that mean? So this is about the desire. This is how we got here, obviously, and this is the biggest. This is the number one desire in the world that keeps it going. And so I found this kama, the realm of form, or the realm of desire, is eros. So this is the satisfaction of the the sense fields where we get meaning. And it's said that some of the, that in the realm of desire, the kama dhatu, that the will to life and the will to meaning are two of the, main wills that come along with that kama dhatu. Main desires. Is that helpful?
What does will mean in that context?
The will to life, to continue on with life. And I think the Theravadins, I read a book on the Theravadin view of dependent origination once, and they had a lot in there about the will to life as not being an actual desire, but being a part of, I can't even remember now how it was phrased, but like being a good desire to have. That seems okay. And then the will to meaning is, I think we all look at that. What does it mean?
Erlang bowing. That reminds me of the phrasing in the precepts. It's no attaching to fulfillment. It's not no fulfillment, but the attaching. What's the attaching to fulfillment? Bowing.
I think the attaching can become an addiction. Attaching is more of a demand, more of a attaching to it as something that will be permanent, something that will help you to get to a certain place, to achieve a certain goal. But its impermanence is not seen in that case.
Erlang bowing. If we have something that's being repeated, but we're aware that it's circular or that it's impermanent, is it still an attachment?
I think so, but it's good to be aware of it. I don't think attachment in itself is wrong or incorrect. I don't think we can avoid having attachments. Thank you.
Kandrima bowing. How can we use these teachings, like everything is sexual? How can they inform our sitting or our practice? Or using the desire realms and how you've talked about them. Bowing.
I don't know. I think for some people it might help. It might help them to view sexuality differently. It depends on if there's something there that's difficult for you, like shame, or like Sokusan was talking about, an overly sexual personality, just to look at that. I don't know that there's an outcome as far as this is what it will do for you. It's just something to look at and contemplate. For me, I think it's just helped me see the bigger picture a little better. To look more deeply into the causes and conditions that make this world what it is and this life what it is. So,
From your understanding, as you've been contemplating, because your curiosity has been tweaked by that everything is sexual, that particular teaching, have you gone into things being sexual without any particular grasping or desire, just the functionality of the world?
that makes sense to me.
Can you think of an example where two things coming together make a third? Male, female, make a child, or this
Sure.
comes together with this and something else happens? That's sexuality.
Yes, like lightning hitting the ground helps things grow.
Very good. Very good. Actually, I hadn't thought of that. That's a good one. So which one's feminine?
The ground.
How about a volcano?
You know, actually, that volcanic ash is really fertile as
Yes,
well.
we could go on and on, you know, if you look around,
Yeah, things coming together are.
things coming together
Excellent.
create something else. And the elseness is, and I'm gonna stop, I am going to stop right there.
Oh. Thank you.
Thank you.
Carla?
I'm bowing. I'm wondering with that like broader view, the example of the brush and ink awareness practice is coming up where like we're making something, but it's kind of beside the point, or we're not keeping the thing. Does that apply to those other situations like the parents and the child, or I don't know, is there another way of including that in there too?
Sure, that's creative as well. So what would be the masculine and feminine there?
In
Brush and ink practice. That creation.
Go for it.
brush.
And then the ink is the paper.
It's just like there's like 16 levels of it.
Talk to you first, I'm next.
Oh,
That's a very good example of two things coming together. I like that a lot. Go ahead, finish. So that's a very good image of sexuality. There has the brush comes, all the processes that are being on, the symbolism there is very powerful. Not only the brush and ink, but the being held up. The whole thing is very ceremonious, very much like Guru Yoga. Totally different. It's depersonalized in such a way that you can't see the complete subjectivity of it. But where the subjectivity comes up is where you do not keep the result. This is what is it saying? If you don't mind me saying a little bit, this is telling you do not own your children. Protect your children, but don't own them. Thank you.
thank you. Jishin?
Jishin bowing. Is something of the nature of desire, of consciousness for us to be aware that consciousness can, and then I live here an open space which people can fulfill with whatever they want. Bowing.
You lost me.
Okay, I will try to.
Again, please, I'm sorry.
I will try to.
You took it out.
Is there something like desire of consciousness for us to be aware that consciousness can, and this is the open space? I don't want to use words like discover or experience, so that's why I'm not ending that question.
Just
Oh, it would have made more sense with discover or
Yeah.
experience.
Tell them to stop avoiding communicating.
Yeah. So are you asking if consciousness? I'm still lost.
I'm wondering if there is
Wrote down what she said.
something of the nature of desire in consciousness,
Oh,
which is a desire for us to be aware that consciousness can discover, experience, or whatever, something.
Whatever, something.
yes. You're asking, is there anything in the desire of consciousness that it desires to be aware of itself?
Yes, and it can be only, I understand that it can only be aware when we are aware. Or I'm wrong. Did I confuse you more?
It kind of makes sense that the awareness the desire for awareness, that your awareness be aware of itself. Your consciousness desires that awareness be aware of itself. Is that what you're asking?
Yes, basically, I think.
And you're asking if that's okay or if that's happening?
I'm asking if it can be a desire of that nature in consciousness.
Yeah, I think anything we objectify can be desired. So we can desire that concept, but we can't desire something that we already are.
We were talking at noon today about something of the, like in transmission, that there is on, like I can use the word, on one side there is a um, our ancestors Buddhas, and on this side is us with our karma. And I think someone used that connection of like knocking the door on both sides. And I'm wondering that if this is something like something which can describe that desire coming from the other side for us to become aware, or maybe to awaken. Bowing.
Is this the other side of something on a timeline or a physical space, or?
We were talking about our ancestors, about the line of ancestors, Buddhas, and who are here all the time, as Sukuzan, I believe, said when answering our questions.
I think so.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question, James?
James bowing. When you say everything is sexual, I think of two things. Sexual, like you shouldn't meditate on someone you're sexually attracted to because that's a distraction. But then there's sexual, like the gross bodies, the parts of the gross body. But how do you kind of think of what, I mean, how do you kind of think on the idea of like pervert attractions to things like seeing beauty and beauty in someone that's youthful, like they're in their, but not forgetting that they're going to be old and wrinkly in a few decades.
Kind of a complicated question. The first part of your question about meditating on someone you're attracted to or something like that. So
Yeah, it's a very bad distraction if you do that, and a lot of texts say not to.
oh, well, in Shikantaza, we don't meditate on objects, so that isn't part of, we don't pick an object and focus on that generally. We watch what arises. So in
Don't
the
you think
second,
any object, any thought is an object?
yeah, if it's arising, but then you don't meditate on that, that is part of your meditation, is to observe what's arising. So you're meditating on watching, you're meditating on what's arising, but you're not sticking on something. So if it comes, let it come. If it goes, let it go. I mean, those are the basic instructions for Shikantaza. It's just watch what moves.
So if you're meditating and you see like a bunch of sexy men start dancing in your mind, you think, don't hold on, hold on, just let them keep dancing.
Well, you might get lost in a daydream, but that's not the purpose is not to maintain anything, including a daydream.
All right. And what's the role of I don't know, the idea that a perfect thing doesn't need to change, but it does anyways?
Oh, your second question was about aging?
Yeah, something that you know is faulted because you know it's gonna end badly. And kind of like how that relates to perfection and falling out of perfection.
Well, everything is going to end, and whether it ends badly or goodly, I don't think there's a difference. It's just going to end. So sickness, aging, and death. Sickness, old age, and death.
Do you believe in infinite time and infinite regress?
What was that?
The Buddha says that time is infinite. Do you believe in that?
The Buddhist has what?
The Buddha said that
Uh,
time is infinite.
No.
Beginningless time and endless future.
Well, if that's true, I don't need to believe in it. And I don't know. I don't know.
That one's just died.
Eternal maybe, but I don't know about infinite.
Okay. And
Okay.
are the 12 links in a loop?
Are 12 links in a loop? No, they're in a chain.
In a chain. All right. I thought it made a loop, but
Well, a chain could make a loop.
oh,
It's a circle. You've seen the circle with the of dependent imagination, I'm sure.
oh, I put that link in the chat. I don't know if
Bet you did.
I would, if SokukoJi would want to look at who the author was, if he has a copy or not. But
Okay, we'll check it
thanks.
out. Yeah, thank you, James. I can't actually reach the chat now, but I'll look at it before we close. So thank you for
Okay.
your question. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.